Welcome to another edition of Hawks Football Weekly. I'm your host, Brant Freeman, along with Kenya Lake head coach Charley. The Hawks are 1-0, opening the season this past Friday with a 38-0 win over Blanco. That's now 2 wins in a row over the rival Panthers. And, Coach, that's got to be a really good feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a total team effort. Anytime you shut someone out, it's that you're not turning the ball over, obviously, and giving up touchdowns. The defense keeps them out of the end zone. Our special teams were solid. All of our backups played, and everyone contributed to the shutout.
Looking at the play of your offense specifically, 430 yards of offense for you. Tanner Ferris led the way, rushing for $140 and a score. How well do you feel as if you controlled the line of scrimmage?
Oh, we were real pleased. We ran the ball like we wanted to. We almost had another 100-yard rusher with Jacob Ruff. Ben Fulton was very efficient, 5 of 9, 2 touchdown passes, both to Cam and McDonough. So we were real pleased. It was a very balanced attack. Yeah,
you mentioned the passing game, and of course your offense is run-oriented. Do you feel as if you're able to open things up a little bit?
Yeah, and we want teams to prepare for that. We're not going to throw it as much as other teams, but when we do, we want to be effective and score points with it.
Well, let's look at the other side of the scoreboard, the 0 that you put up defensively. You also forced 3 turnovers in the game. Who were some of the standouts for you on that side of the ball?
On the defensive side, our linebacker play was really well. They played really well. Jacob Ruff, Trenton Lorette were solid at our low safeties. And our defensive line controlled the line of scrimmage, and that was probably the key.
So, as we mentioned in the first show last week, this is your 6th season now as Kenya Lake head football coach. It never gets old, does it, Coach? When you get out there on a Friday night for the first time, early September, to kick off a season, that in itself had to be a really nice experience this past week.
Yeah, you always have those butterflies when you start out the season, getting all the logistics of the first game, especially if it's a home game. It's almost a relief when they blow that whistle and kick it off on Friday night.
Well, your players obviously compete on the football field very heavily, but coming up here in just a moment, we're going to put them up with some other different kinds of competition with the Hawks Hurry Up that we're starting just this week. I know you've had a chance to kind of observe what they've been doing out there. Do they have fun with that?
Yeah, and they have fun, but they're a competitive bunch. They have been, especially the seniors, ever since their 7th grade year, and that's why we're excited about this year. They're competitive anything they do.
Well, as we said, this week we're introducing Hawks Hurry Up with our very own Emily Wick. Emily, take it away.
Welcome to Hawks Hurry Up. Today's challenge is Ball Shakedown. Our 4 contestants have less than a minute to finish this challenge. Let's see if they have what it takes. Today's challengers: Braden Height, number 60. Bradley Height, number 68. CJ Parrish, number 70. Javier Saucedo, number 52. Let's get to it. Which of our Hawks will get the gumballs from one container to the next the fastest? And go. Braden, you're chewing gum as you shake the gum. Is that coincidence or irony? Javier, so serious. Bradley, the swirl technique? I don't know. We have a winner. Number 68, Bradley Height. Way to go, Hawks. And Bradley, you finished fast. And Hawks Football Weekly will be back in just a moment.
Where Zaxby's is from. Some like it classic. Some like it saucy. For others, it's gotta be crispy. But everyone loves the flavor that brings us together. And whether you like it spicy or old school, you'll like it even more. Because Zaxby's 5 fan favorites are now just $5.99 each. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's.
Welcome back to Hawks Football Weekly. I'm Brant Freeman with Kenya Lake head coach Charley. As we said earlier, the Hawks are 1-0 courtesy of a 38-0 win over Blanco. But this week, the Hawks are on the road taking on Austin Reagan, a team coach that's 0-1. They lost their opener to Brant this past Thursday. When you look at this Austin Reagan football team, you have to keep in mind they're a 5A program, a larger talent pool to draw from. What are your initial impressions of the Raiders?
Well, they struggled last week. They didn't scrimmage. Their only scrimmage they had scheduled was washed out due to the rain. But they're a very dangerous team. They're very big up front, and at the skill positions, if you don't line up right, you don't tackle well in the open field, they'll make you pay. So they're a very dangerous group.
Now, obviously, Reagan had a tough time offensively last week, getting shut out by the Bulldogs, but it's tough for any team to be shut out 2 weeks in a row. Expecting Reagan to bounce back offensively, what kind of looks are you expected to see from the Raiders offense?
Well, last year they were spread-oriented. They're more run-oriented. They're huge up front, and they got some good running backs, so they're looking to make you pay on the ground. But like I said, if you miss a tackle here or there, they can take it to the house in a hurry.
Now, looking at the Reagan defense, what kind of challenges do they present there?
Well, again, just like on the offensive side, they're huge up front. They have a defensive end that's getting some Division I looks. He's about 6'3", 275. They're very big and very fast on the back end, so that's probably their strength right now. They played pretty well. You know, they had some costly turnovers against Brant. They kind of turned that game around late in the second quarter, but it was 6-0 with about 2 minutes to go in the half. So their defense definitely kept them in the game for a while.
I mentioned this earlier. This is a Thursday night game this week, and the Raiders played last Thursday, so they will have had a full week of rest. And while you're coming off a Friday game, playing on shorter rest, what kind of a factor can that have?
Well, luckily we played 2 Thursday night games last year, and we were victorious in both of them. So hopefully we'll draw from that experience and kind of duplicate what we did practice-wise last year.
Speaking of last year, you won this game a year ago, 35-16. What do you remember about it?
I remember it being a close game until I think it was about 5 or 6 minutes left. Our special teams kind of turned the game around. We recovered an onside kick, and then they had a miscue on the ensuing. We scored on the ensuing kickoff. They had a miscue, and we scored again. We scored about 21 points in 5 minutes. They kind of turned it around. Well,
finally, Coach, what are the keys can you break down for us that you feel like might be a factor in the game this Thursday?
Well, what we're trying to build on, you know, the one thing we weren't very pleased with, we started the game Friday against Blanco, you know, with a lot of passion, a lot of emotion. We came out of halftime kind of lethargic, so we're preaching that to the kids. Use that halftime to kind of recharge and get after them like we did in the first half.
Well, Coach, good luck on Thursday.
All right, thank you.
Again, Canyon Lake takes on Austin Reagan in our state capitol this Thursday at 7:30. For a full recap, we'll have it for you next week right here on HawksNetwork.com. For head coach Charley Drum, I'm Brant Freeman. This has been Hawks Football Weekly. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.